Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Tom King writing with Bill Evely on the art. And it is the penultimate issue of this series. And the gist of this one is that the girl is left on a beach with the villain Krem tied up a tree. Comet's there to make sure she doesn't try to kill him, while Supergirl goes off to take on the ship full of bad guys who are trying to rescue him. Basically, his entire group of baddies all have this code of honor where they'll try to rescue each other if one of them gets captured.
Yeah, the brigands.
So we have all this gorgeous art of Supergirl taking on like a space ship, but it's actually just looks like an old pirate ship.
Yep, it's Supergirl versus space pirates, and I'm so here for it.
Yeah. And it's the girl's narrating, and in the hindsight as she has been doing, and talking about how Comet's there to make sure she doesn't like try and kill Krem, because Supergirl isn't all about the murder, right? Like that's not what she is.
Well, also they need him to give the antidote for Crypto.
Yes,
he won't give it up.
He's not revealed that yet. And it's a bad idea, like because she talks Comet into letting her like take off the gag. So because maybe he's trying to confess something right now. Maybe this is important what he's saying.
Right.
I was like, oh no, this is bad, because he's going to start talking, and once he starts talking, going to be railed up. And I thought it was a really good version of it though, because obviously it has to be distinct. Because what we've seen, like I think the first example I think of is in the Dark Knight when the Joker starts riling up the cop when he's like, you know a person until they're until they're just about dead or whatever. Do you want to watch your friends were cowards? Yeah. So like you have all that like going. But what he actually does though is he talks about killing her father, obviously. And he was essentially paid to find the weaklings and the traitors and all these things. And he would usually do it by telling a joke about the king, the emperor, whatever it is. And if they were traitors, they would, laugh and like go along with the joke. But her dad didn't, right? Like he actually got very offended and said, "Get off the land," and spoke down to him. And he basically says that he had this thought that he didn't like the idea of this lowly rock farmer thinking he was better than him,
forgetting his place.
Yeah. But basically thinking he was better than him because he felt righteous in this moment. And by the time he finished having that thought, his blade was already in his chest. So he had this basically just moment of petty, insecurity, and killed him for making him feel that. Is ultimately what it boils down to.
Well, it's every bully. The reason they bully is because they feel insignificant. So by bullying someone that you think can't stick up for themselves, it makes you feel like you have more power. And that's basically what Krem is, right? And this is how Kara's been trying to deal with him. In the right way. You're not going to give in. You can't really bully the bully, despite what Rocky tells you. You gotta be better. So yeah.
Yeah. And he says, he's not going to feel remorse. He is what he is, and he doesn't feel a damn thing bad about it. And ultimately, all this stuff with Supergirl fighting in the ship is all great. It all looks wonderful, but she actually does kind of start to lose because they have a little bit of kryptonite. They have a lot of big weapons. There's a great moment where she's like going into the atmosphere of a planet, and like the narration talks about how when Supergirl described this later, it was like, it was actually kind of nice at first because it reminded her of this warm embrace and this memory she has of her parents and her dad kind of messing up something in the kitchen and like, don't tell your mother. And it was this nice little moment. But basically, the main bad guy on the boat is like aiming this kryptonite gun at her, and she starts talking, but then you realize through the scene that she's not talking to him, she's talking to Comet, and she's saying, "No, don't. Whatever you do, Comet, do not come up and help me. Like, you stay there. She needs you more than I do." And the girl convinces Comet. She promises not to like do anything. She gives him her word that she won't try and kill Krem. So Comet flies off to help Supergirl, and immediately she turns and draws her sword and says, it weighs on your conscience to lie to a horse, but I get over it pretty quick.
Because she talked about a pony that she had on back home, and that she treated it so well compared to her brothers and their horses, that her dad or her mom said that you were spoiling it. And then so she had to work on unspoiling it. And the moral of that story was lying to the horse, you know, and that she had to learn to do that from an early age.
So the cliffhanger is her saying this as she's drawing her sword and walking towards Krem. So this idea that she might go too far and might kill Krem is kind of her cliffhanger here to get into the final issue. Which is a good cliffhanger because obviously it's the idea of Supergirl battling for this girl's, like, you know, innocence and soul, or whatever you want to call it.
And then if she has left a mark, then the girl will you know, not kill Krem.
Yeah, right? And not to mention Crypto's life is also at stake,
right?
by letting him live. So yeah, a lot going on here. The art is pretty great. All the Supergirl in space fighting the ship and the pirates, all good.
Yeah, so it's balanced. So Evely does this really cool thing here where the island that the girl and Krem and Comet are on is like this desert island paradise.
Also blues, aqua greens.
Yeah. And then that's intercut with like the coldness of space with a lot of yellows, and you know, as Kara's going up there, you know, and the initial barrage that hits her is all, you know, yellows, reds, oranges, and black. And man, it's really balanced well. And then even the on the ship and stuff, it keeps that color going. You know, it's really nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've got just the stark black of space, and like you say, all the blasts are these strong, vibrant yellows and reds, whereas the island is all blues and muted greens, and it just, you know, it's this very tranquil, peaceful place. Which is the irony of the issue is that the ultimate moral decision, the ultimate exciting decision that the cliffhanger is going to be about is the one that's on the island. So the actual real tension is on the island, because even the narration from the girl says that, well, you know, Supergirl's fighting a bunch of baddies, and you know, like, but ultimately they think they can overpower her, but that never turns out to be true. You're really just waiting for Supergirl to win, and kind of like it almost pokes fun at the writing of a super character in that way.
Yeah, right, and that, you know, they told stories of this, how she took out the brigands, so we know how this ends because it's told later. And that, you know, each person tells it a little bit differently. And even this cartoonist that did a version that was just silly, you know.
She says there was good and bad poetry written about it.
Yeah.
And gives an example of the bad poetry, which was an amusing little bit.
Yep. But yeah, it's really good. I'm excited to see where this ends up, because this was a book that has completely won me over. So I like to think it has a little bit to do with Comet, because I didn't realize Comet was going to be the third lead by the end of this book. So... but yeah, it's really, really good. This is a nice penultimate chapter. Yeah,
no, I got a lot of it as well. I don't know if I liked it quite as much as the last issue, but I will say that this ultimate, like, choice that the girl has to make at the end, I do like as a cliffhanger of a penultimate issue. I think the idea being that our time with Supergirl hopefully has taught her that just straight up revenge isn't the right choice.
Yeah, is
something you hope lands, and it feels like a nice moral core to the super characters that you want them to be able to impart on someone. And the same way that Action's doing it with hope and the idea of, like, believing they can save themselves, this is about, you know, taking the wrong path in a different way. So good stuff. What are you rating it?
8.5.
8.5. Yeah, I'm going to concur with the 8.5, I think. So very good stuff.